Alright, in this video we're looking at the Balaur Arm single-edged Viking sword. This is a personal favorite of mine from Balaur. I've seen the production run of these and the testing blades all up until this finished product right now. It's a really great blade. I did the cutting with it already, very powerful on the slashes, really solid point of balance. Let's do some specs on it, up close looks in the scabbard, out of the scabbard, and then we'll go to the cut testing. Let's get to it. All right, overall length is 36 1/4 inches, all the way from the end of the handle to the more broad tip on this one. Again, this is a single-edged Viking sword. Blade length itself is 30 1/4 inches. We have a really solid wood cord, leather-wrapped handle that Balaur is offering here. The handle is much more of a traditional Viking handle, as we know of Viking handles. Knuckle lining slides that right in. It's a flat, somewhat skinny handle. It's more of like rounded, but it does allow the knuckle lining to sit very well. If you're not used to handles of this fashion, whether you want to call them Viking handles or anything from that, you do have a little bit of getting used to with having the heel of your hand encapsulated. There's a lot of reasons for this that are kind of debated, but one of the things is retention, so that the blade will stay in the hand. You don't have to squeeze the grip in order to keep it in hand. That could also be a personal preference based on, you know, what you want in a sword. The thrusting is really good. It's easy to move around, even being a 30-inch blade, you know, with a little bit of weight on it. One is 2 pounds, 4.9 ounces. Not particularly super heavy for a single-handed sword, but it does have a lot of very powerful slashing power. And like I said, getting the thrust out is really easy with how well the point of balance is. It's a 5160 high carbon steel that Balaur uses for their swords. I like that it's a single edge. I'm more used to single edge blades personally, so I like being able to actually rest the blade on the shoulder, or just know that I have the main edge going forward for cutting, and then hypothetically for fighting as well. The pommel on this one is peened, and you actually are going to see 2 brass pins when we do the up close looks. They're actually right here, right where my pointer finger and middle finger are. That's where the peens are. They are brass pins. They're brass pins, and then we have brass wire going around toward the tip. Right along here is all brass. So nice, aesthetically pleasing with that one. Balaur blades come unsharpened. These are manufactured in India. Just because they're overseas doesn't mean that the quality isn't there. Kult of Athena has worked extensively with Balaur in order to bring high quality European and Viking swords to you. And then, like I said, these are unsharpened as they're coming from overseas. So we added a sharpening service, so thank you, Mark. Thank Mark in the comments for doing a sharpening service, so we can get free videos to you, so you can get a better look at what we offer at cultofathena.com. Last thing to really mention here is the scabbard. So the scabbard is the very similar of this dark brown. It's more of a flat brown, which you'll be able to see more when we do up close looks. Steel tip. The tip is somewhat pointy on this one. Not super pointy. Some blades I've been poked with just from the scabbard alone. This one is a lot better quality, and the tip is somewhat rounded. Easy to draw. The drawing is really smooth on this one. This is, of course, a wood cord leather wrapped scabbard. I gotta fucking do that again now. Last thing to kind of mention is the scabbard. We have a wood cord leather wrapped scabbard. It's a dark brown, more of like a flat brown. You'll see these notches here. They're not just notches for aesthetics. They're so when you're carrying this on a sword hanger or on a sword belt, you have, so it's not going to slide all the way down or slide all the way up, so it stays in place. So if you are wearing this underneath the hip, you can have that, where those notches act as a little bit of retention while still allowing you to adjust that. If you need sword frogs, if you need sword accessories for carrying, whether that be for Renaissance fairs, for reenactments, we have you covered in the leather goods section at cultofathena.com. Another thing to mention with the scabbard also is the steel tip. So this one's a steel tip running all the way through it on the edge. This is not super pointy. I wouldn't want to drop it on my foot. Definitely not for that. But some of the other ones from other companies, they can be actually really pointy. They've done a good job of rounding the tip off so that you're not getting nicked with your own scabbard. The other feature coming with this scabbard is this rain guard or chap. So you'll see from the side view here that this chap folds over. So that's just intending really so that you're not getting a whole lot of moisture buildup, and you know, if you're outdoors, rain, and it's just dripping down into the scabbard, and you gotta clean the whole scabbard. So it's intended to be a little bit more of, you know, an amenity for that, and it's also obviously functional as well. All right, so now we'll take a look at the blade in the scabbard and out of the scabbard, do some up close looks in the sun so you can see what I see. Okay, taking a look at the blade in the scabbard, we'll see the bronze wrapping here going all the way through. Dark brown handle, as you can see, is flat and skinny. It's a little bit of a belly to it. There's a leather chap with the stitching on it, so this folds over part of the cross guard. And this is what I was talking about before with attaching a sword belt or a sword frog as well. You can notch this a little bit higher. You can go in between, or you can go a little bit further down. You pan down to the steel tip. If you see blemishes like that on this one, this is the reason why we're using it for cut testing. Unless you buy it blemished, it's not going to look like that. And then we can flip it over. We can see the stitching, which matches the chap. So we have little crosses on this one, little V's really on this one. And then this runs all the way down until we get to the end toward the steel tip. All right, I'm taking a look at it outside the scabbard, Balaur logo. This has no false edge at all. This is a single edged blade all the way through the tip. So the tip does get a little bit skinnier, so it making it fly a lot better when slashing with it. And again, this one has been sharpened. So if you see an edge on it, that's because there is one on it. We flip it over just to see the back side of it. And again, if we take a look a little bit closer, yep, we'll see the brass. And then also, kind of a weird angle, but we can also see the brass pins that I was talking about before, how they're notched in there. We'll look at some specs and the blade in the scabbard, out of the scabbard up close, a little bit more details on this blade. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cut testing. So we'll see that we're using cardboard for this one, which is fine. Just kind of rigged it up to the cut stand. So let's get to that. It, the Balaur Arms single edge Viking sword. Took a look at some specs, up close looks, and also did some cut testing. If you want to see more Balaur blades, let us know in the comments below this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you in the next one.